day everyone, and welcome to our next topic, the discussion on nursing as a profession. Nursing is a noble profession at the heart of healthcare which combines compassion, expertise, and dedication to promote healing and well-being. Nurses serve as advocates, caregivers, offering comfort and support to individuals and community, most especially in times of vulnerability. So for today's discussion, here are our objectives. Primary number one, to define nursing. Familiarize the students with the different historical events in nursing worldwide and in the Philippines, and relate these historical events to the development of nursing practice and the nursing profession. Nursing is a multifaceted profession that encompasses a wide range of roles and responsibilities. Now, let us start defining nursing as an art. Okay. Nursing is the art of caring for the sick and well individuals, referring to the use of dynamic skills and methods in assisting the sick and well individuals in their recovery and in the promotion and maintenance of their health. Nursing, we say, as an art encompasses the compassionate and empathetic aspects of nursing practice that go beyond to the use of the technical skills and scientific knowledge. Definitely, it involves the application of creativity, intuition, and personal connection in caring for patients and promoting their well-being. Nursing as a science is the body of abstract knowledge arrived through scientific research and logical analysis. So as a science, it involves the systematic study and application of knowledge which are derived from natural, social, and behavioral sciences to promote care. As we all know, nursing primarily is the diagnosis and treatment of human responses to actual or potential problem, highly different from that of the medical profession, which is to provide alleviation from the disease itself. So, how do we define nursing as a profession? It is a calling in which the members profess to have acquired special knowledge by training or experiences or both, so that they may guide, advise, and save others in that particular field. Particularly, so to speak, being called as a profession is also being termed as an occupation that requires extensive education or a calling that requires special knowledge, skill, and preparation. So what are the criteria for a profession to be called a profession? It requires prolonged specialized education. There is a theoretical body of knowledge. It is oriented toward service, has an ongoing research, evidence-based practice to guide decision-making process of the nurses in caring for their patients. They have their own set of code of ethics, has an autonomy, and has established a professional organization to support their profession. Now, let us define nursing according to the different theories that we had discussed during your theoretical foundation of nursing. Starting off with Florence Nightingale in 1860, she had defined the act of utilizing the environment of the patient to assist him in his recovery. So this entails the use or provision of a clean, well-ventilated, and quiet environment so that the patient's body can heal on its own. Moving forward, we have Virginia Henderson. So according to her, the unique function of the nurse is to assist the individual, sick or well, in the performance of those activities contributing to health or its recovery, or if not possible, towards a peaceful death, that this particular patient would perform unaided given a chance that he or she had the necessary strength, will, or knowledge. So according to Henderson, there are 14 basic components of human needs, and these are to breathe normally, eat and drink adequately, eliminate waste, move and maintain desirable posture, sleep and rest, select a suitable clothing, maintain proper body temperature, keep the body clean and well-groomed, avoid dangers in the environment, communicating with other people, worship according to one's beliefs, work in such a way that there is a sense of accomplishment, okay, and also involvement of play, as we had discussed before, having a proper work-life balance, learn, discover, or satisfy the curiosity that leads to normal development and health, and the use of the available health facilities. So these are the 14 basic needs according to Virginia Henderson. Now, going to analyzing where did the term nursing came from. So we can trace back the ancient roots and the evolving of the term nursing over time. Its origin can be tracked back to the Old English and Latin words. Okay. So the Old English nouris, or to nurture, refer to the act of caring and nourishing someone, particularly that of a child. And this term later evolved into nourishing in Middle English, which retains still the meaning of caring for and nourishing. Now, on the Latin word nutrir also means to nourish or to suckle, referring to that of the work of a wet nurse, or someone who nurtures and cares for others or provides breastfeeding. In Middle English, the term nursing began to be used to describe as the act of providing care, nourishment, and support to the sick, the injured, or the vulnerable individual. So this usage reflected a broader understanding of nursing, encompassing not only that of the provision of physical care, but also the emotional, social, and spiritual needs. Okay, so it was until the 16th century that the term nursing is described to be the person who provides nursing care to those who are infirm or to those who are sick. Now, in this section, would like to give you a brief overview of the healthcare, the historical overview of the healthcare, and identify some nursing leaders who have influenced the events or that change or improve the healthcare system within the framework of the nursing profession. Okay. So it is important. So what's the reason why you need to discuss history? Because it is important to be familiar with the efforts of those who have gone before us, because they have a special, or their works have a special impact on what we are enjoying or what we are having at present. So much of the early history and information about healthcare is based on the information about ancient cultures, which have been gathered by anthropologists and are documented by historians. Okay. So nursing today, as what we are practicing, is far different from nursing as it was practiced years and years ago. So nursing has undergone dramatic change in response to the societal needs and influences. Okay, so at this point, we would like to highlight, some very important events that have influenced nursing practice. That includes of the discussion on some religious values, war, societal attitude, and nursing leadership. Now, at this point, we will have a brief historical overview of the different great periods in the history of nursing. So we call that the timeline of great periods in nursing history. Starting off with the imperative or the primitive times until 6th century, where nursing was thought to be untaught and only that of out of instinct. Okay, to until the 11th century, the 6th century to the 11th century, where we call in the period of apprentice nursing, where nurses or those people who would want to become a nurse would go into training, go into the hospital, and experience the job firsthand. Then, moving forward to the dark period of nursing, from a time before the mid-1800s, when nursing lacked organization, education, and social status, to the evolution of a nursing practice influenced by societal needs and visionary leadership, undergoing some radical changes to the period of educated nursing, and up until at present, to the development of modern nursing, to what we call now as the contemporary nursing practice. Alright, so let us discuss them one by one. So the period of innovative nursing. Traditionally, women have been the primary caregivers within the families and communities. So during this time, since we say the period of intuitive nursing, nursing here was untaught and are only instinctive or out of the instinct of the women as the female members of the family who provides care for their family. And during that time, people were called to be nomads. Okay, so without exact place to be called in as their home, because they try to maximize the resources that they have at the present. So if they go to one place and they had utilized all the resources for their basic needs, then they would be traveling to another place and they would be utilizing the resources of that specific place, because they believe that they would be utilizing the resources for their own needs. Okay? So they believe in self-preservation and the principle of the best for the most. Okay. Disease during that time were believed to be caused by evil spirits or black magic and can be relieved by a particular person called a shaman. Okay. And caring during that time was basically more of inclined into the practice of one's religion. Okay. Beliefs on superstition and some astrology and numerology that guides them in their daily living or in their daily lives. At this point also, we'd like to discuss some ancient civilization and their beliefs on their health and the influence of this to the nursing profession. Alright, so going back with the ancient civilization of Babylonia, okay, to what is now known as Iraq, okay, during that time, no, they were ruled by kings, and each king would be having his own specific set of laws, and once another king would be taking the throne, he would be having his own throne, okay? Then came Hammurabi, okay, so according to Hammurabi, he would want to make this law permanent, okay? So he provided a specific law which is written on a diorite, okay, or a volcanic rock. So according to few of the inscriptions there describes or provided laws that guides the Babylonian life, including medical practice. Okay, that also includes different fees for different consultations. They also discourage experimentation because they believe that the body is sacred. Okay, they had assigned specific doctors for each diseases, and the patients, if are ill, can choose between the use of charms, medications, or that of herbal means, no, and or surgery. One example of the law during that time is what do we call the principle of an eye for an eye, for which if a man pulls out one eye, okay, of the other man, his eye would also be pulled out. So an eye for an eye. So nurses during this time or this civilization was never mentioned on the inscription. In Egypt, the art of embalming is promulgated, okay, and had enhanced the knowledge of the people on human anatomy. Okay, it facilitated the process of dissection, for which had developed the ability to make keen observations or assessment. And the ancient Egypt or the ancient civilization of Egypt had left a record of 250 recognizable diseases. During that time, slaves and the patient's relatives were the ones who provide nursing care to the sick. Okay. In Israel, Moses was termed to be the father of sanitation. At the book of Genesis, no, they emphasize hospitality to strangers, okay, and providing acts of charity. If you could remember the Good Samaritan law, no, okay, and the ritual of circumcision of the male child became an integral part of the Jewish religious culture and cultural identity. It symbolizes the covenant between the Jewish people and God. Okay? At this point in Israel, they refer to nurses as midwives who provide care during childbirth, and wet nurses who provide breastfeeding to the infants whose acts were compassionate and tender. In China, okay, they believed in the presence of spirits and demons. Okay? However, compared to that of the Egyptian civilization, Chinese civilization prohibits the dissection of the human body. Okay? Knowledge and practices of the Chinese herbal medicine were collected and classified in contextual text and was published in a book called Materia Medica. Okay? This is called to be the modern-day pharmacology book for us. It had described the different methods of treating infections and muscular afflictions with the use of herbs. Okay? So this text or this book describes hundreds of medicinal plants and their uses, which served as the foundation for traditional Chinese medicine practitioner. Okay. Nursing was assumed to be the role of the female members of the household at this civilization. In India, men built hospitals. Sushruta, who is called to be the father of surgery, made a specific list of functions and qualifications of a nurse. He published the ancient Sanskrit text called Sushruta Samhita, that contains detailed descriptions of surgical procedures, anatomical structures, and medical treatment. An excerpt is here showing the different instruments used for surgeries, okay, and the primary contribution or the major contribution of Sushruta to surgery and medicine have provided a lasting impact in the development of healthcare in India and beyond. Okay, it is also the first time to record that nurses were providing care for the sick people. In his book, in his inscriptions, nurses were described as a combination of a physical therapist, the one who provide massages, and the one who provide nutrition by providing food to the patients. Okay. In ancient Greece, nursing was the task of the untrained slaves. It was in Greece where Hippocrates became popular and was called to be the father of scientific medicine. He rejected the belief that diseases were caused by supernatural being, okay, and believes or is in favor of rational and scientific approach to medicine, which involves the study of anatomy, okay, the body parts, the physiology, their functions, and pathology, the abnormality in these functions, guiding the understanding on the underlying causes of each and every particular disease. Okay. He developed assessment standards for patients and definitely recognized the need for nurses. In Rome, Romans attempted to maintain vigorous health because illness for them is a sign of weakness. They have this motto as to if you are strong, you are healthy. So if you are familiar with the different movies portraying the Roman civilization, no, they are bulky in soldiers' suit, no, portraying or signifying that this type of civilization are the strong type of civilization. Okay, Fabiola, a beautiful Roman matron, renounced everything the world has to offer for her and her family. Okay, and devoted all her wealth to the needs of the sick and the needy and the poor. Okay, and she established the first hospital in the Christian world. Now, moving forward to the period of apprentice nursing, okay, this refers to an era in nursing history when aspiring nurses learn their craft or learn nursing through hands-on experience and practical training rather than having formal academic programs. 𝓉𝓪𝓧 Institute played a pivotal role in the professionalization of nursing by providing on-the-job training to women who wish to serve as deaconesses or religiously inspired nurses. Okay, so Pastor Fleidner established the 𝓉𝓪𝓧 Institute for Deaconesses, and this model or this significant breakthrough in history emphasized the need for rigorous training, clinical experience, and adherence to ethical standards, giving the foundation for the modern-day nursing education program at present that we have. Okay, so nursing care here was performed without any formal training. So if you want to become a nurse, you can go directly in the hospital and learn nursing care inside while you are performing your job. Okay, so they are training under the supervision of an experienced nurse or sometimes the physicians themselves. Okay. It was also during the time where wars created an increased need for nurses and medical specialties. Crusades were a series of religious wars fought between 11th and 13th century, primarily between the Christian Europeans and the Muslim forces, okay, with their goal of reclaiming the Holy Land, particularly that of Jerusalem. Okay. While the primary motivators for the Crusades were religious and political, okay, this had given significant implications to the development of the nursing profession. Military religious orders established hospitals which are staffed by men. Okay? Medical care for crusaders were provided by military religious orders. Few of these examples are the Knights of St. John of Jerusalem, Teutonic Knights, and Knights of St. Lazarus. So these military hospitals were established primarily to treat soldiers, wounded soldiers, including that of the knights, the monks, and lay people. Okay. The Election Brothers are a religious order of Catholic monks dedicated to providing health care and social services to the sick, and also to include spiritual care to the marginalized members of the society. Okay, it was in 1348 that they founded and established the Election Brothers Hospital, and has established the hospital's School of Nursing, the largest school of nursing under a religious order. Okay, so the Election Brothers had founded numerous hospitals and healthcare institutions all over Europe and America, beginning that of the Middle Ages. Okay, so these hospitals provided care to individuals with infectious diseases, mental illnesses, and other medical conditions, providing a sanctuary, a place to live in, okay, for those people who need medical treatment and spiritual support. But unfortunately, the school closed in 1969. Okay, so the Election Brothers coordinated and collaborated with nursing sisters or nuns and lay nurses to provide comprehensive care to patients in hospitals and healthcare facilities. So there was a rise of religious nursing orders for women, and only by entering a convent that a woman can follow a career. Okay? And during that time, since there are already civil wars, no, religious taboos and social restrictions influenced the nursing profession. Eventually, hospitals became poorly ventilated and beds became filthy, portraying overcrowding of patients, and situations were not really suitable for recovery. Some important personages during that time is Saint Clare, okay, the founder of the Second Order of Saint Francis of Assisi, who took vows of poverty, obedience, service, and chastity. Okay, her order also engaged in charitable works, including caring for the sick and the needy. They established hospitals and infirmaries where nursing care were provided to those people who are in need. Okay, Saint Elizabeth of Hungary is a daughter of a Hungarian king. She used all her wealth to make the lives of the poor happy and useful, even building hospitals for the sick and the poor. Okay, so that the marginalized people could be provided or could be given the proper medical support and the proper medical treatment that they can provide. Okay, Saint Catherine of Siena was called to be the patron saint of nurses, nursing, and that of the sick. She dedicated herself to caring for the sick, particularly during the times of the bubonic plague. And she ministered those who were afflicted with disease, providing for their physical needs, offering comfort and spiritual support. These were a few of the very important personages during the period of apprentice nursing. Now, moving forward to the dark period of nursing, particularly between 17th to the 19th century, refers to the period during the late Middle Age and the early Renaissance, when nursing and healthcare practice experienced a decline in quality, organization, and professionalism. Okay. Religious orders and monastic hospitals, which had played a very crucial role in providing healthcare and nursing services during the early Middle Age time, faced a lot of challenges during the late Middle Ages. Okay. Primarily due to political and religious upheaval. Okay, so the dissolution of the monasteries, conflicts between religious orders, and the Protestant Reformation disrupted the operations of religious healthcare institutions, thereby giving or diminishing the quality of care and the capacity of the healthcare system to provide for the needs of the sick and the needy during that time. It was the period of Reformation up until the U.S. Civil War, where Martin Luther destroyed the unity of the Christian faith and promulgated the Protestantism. Properties of hospitals and schools associated with a religious order particular to that of the Catholic faith were confiscated. Okay? Nurses fled for their lives kasi they don't have any choice. No? And in England, hundreds of hospitals were closed. Okay. During this time, there were no provisions for the sick. No one could care for the sick because of the fear for their lives. Many nurses were untrained, lay women or volunteers who provided care to the sick and injured out of the necessity rather than of the professional calling. Okay? Nursing now became the work for the least desirable women of the society. They worked 7 days a week. They slept in cubby holes near the hospital ward, even ate scrap food. Okay? So the absence of standard education and accreditation contributed to the inconsistencies in nursing practice and quality care provided to the patients. Societal attitudes have greatly influenced the image of the nursing throughout this period of history. Okay. While the dark period of nursing represents a challenging time in history of healthcare, it had also laid the groundwork for future reforms and advancements in nursing practice. So lessons learned from this period, okay, provided the importance of professionalization, the need for education and evidence-based practice, and the delivery of healthcare services in promoting the well-being of the people. Visionary leaders made notable contributions in improving the status, education, and the professionalization of the nursing professions. Pioneers such as Florence Nightingale, okay, a British nurse, and a social reformer, often regarded as the founder of medicine, a modern nursing. During the Crimean War, no, she provided care to the wounded soldiers in military hospitals in Turkey, together with her team of nurses. She would look for wounded soldiers at night carrying her lamp, hence the term the lady with the lamp. Okay, she was a Victorian lady, okay, who developed her self-appointed goal as to the need to change the profile of nursing in history. Okay, so her self-professed goal is to provide radical change for the improvement of the nursing profession. Okay. During that time, Florence would go from one hospital to another, taking into consideration and noting all her observations of the situations in these hospitals. Okay, particularly paying attention to the provision of sanitary facilities and also the existence of the different social problems in every hospital that she visited, no? And for which she advocated the care for those afflicted with these diseases with the need for providing hygienic practices, okay? She also disapproved the restrictions on admission of patients and considers these instances or situations to be unchristian and incompatible with healthcare. And with all her efforts, no, she upgraded the practice of nursing and made the nursing profession to what it is at present as an honorable profession. Okay, two of her popular books are known in history and are called to be the Notes on Nursing, what it is and what is not, and her Notes on Hospitals. Okay, following her experiences during the Crimean War, Florence Nightingale established the first formal nursing school at the St. Thomas Hospital in London. She called it Florence Nightingale School of Nursing. Her establishment of this School of Nursing was strongly influenced by, number one, the trends and issues resulting from wars, that of the Crimean and the Civil War, the arousal of social consciousness for the need to provide standard education and emphasizing the importance of rigorous training, okay, and increased educational opportunities offered to women. She emphasizes sanitation, hygiene, and nursing care, and these areas had significantly improved patient outcomes and paved the way for the professionalization of the nursing profession. Throughout the late 19th century, nursing schools proliferated in Europe and in Northern America and other parts of the world. These schools, or the establishments of these schools, had provided structured training programs for aspiring nurses and had contributed to the development of the nursing profession as a recognized healthcare discipline. In the early 20th century, there was a growing recognition of the need for standardized nursing education and accreditation. This led to the establishment of formal nursing education programs, including the diploma program, the associate degree program, and the bachelor's degree program for nursing, which had integrated classroom instructions with clinical practice to prepare nurses or student nurses for the licensure and professional practice. So the contemporary nursing, or the period of contemporary nursing, was actually the period after the World War II. Okay, and scientific and technological development as well as social changes were few of the significant happenings, events during this particular period. Okay, so nursing in the Philippines, its history is very rich and complex. Okay, reflecting a blend of indigenous healing practices, colonial influences, and modern healthcare development. Okay, so to pay particular attention to the history of nursing here now in the Philippines, okay, indigenous healing traditions. Before the arrival of the Spanish colonizers, indigenous Filipino communities had their own healing practices, often led by the beliefs on superstitions, okay? Traditional healers, or what do we call albularios, okay? So this practice involves the use of herbal remedies, massage, and spiritual rituals to promote well-being and to provide relief from any complaints or symptoms that they have. So diseases for them, usually during that particular time, no, were caused and treatment were associated with mysticisms and superstition. Okay. The cause of disease, for some, were believed to be caused by another person, maybe an enemy or an evil spirit. Okay. Persons suffering from diseases without any identified cause were believed to be bewitched by the mangkukulaks. Okay. Difficult childbirth, labor, and delivery were attributed to Nono. Okay. Evil spirit, some were believed to be driven away by persons with powers to expel demons. Okay. They also believe in special gods of healing, like that of the presbyterians or word doctors or herbolarios or herb doctors. So care was revolving on the indigenous beliefs of the people here in the Philippines, similar to that of the intuitive period of the history of nursing all over the world. Okay. Spanish colonization of the Philippines in the 16th century introduced Western medicine and nursing practices to the Philippine island. Religious orders such as the Augustinians and Dominicans played a significant role in providing healthcare and establishing hospitals, where nursing care was provided by nuns and lay women. Several hospitals were established during this time, primarily from the religious orders, similar to that of during the period of apprentice nursing, no, to provide medical care to the locals. Okay, so the earliest hospital in the Philippines is called the Hospital Real. Okay, it was first built in 1565 in Cebu. Okay, but was transferred to Manila in 1577. It was relocated primarily to accompany the Spanish government, and the hospital aimed to provide nursing care to the Spanish Army and Navy, those inflicted with the disease, and those who were called to be military casualties of the war. It was established primarily, for the Spanish king's soldiers, but also they also admitted Spanish civilians. So this was founded by Governor Francisco de Sande. Okay. Hospital Real was destroyed during an earthquake in 1863. Okay. Initially, Hospital de Indios Naturales, established by the Franciscan Order in 1578, Father Fray Clemente, who took pity on numerous beggars who flocked the gates of the convent. So out of his compassion to care and to provide relief from the wounds of this soldier, so he would concoct medications out of herbal medicines and he would apply this to their wounds. Okay. Service in general for this hospital was supported by alms and contributions from charitable persons. So the original structure was destroyed by a fire that blazed in Intramuros in 1583, but was later on rebuilt. However, a few years after, it was destroyed in yet another fire. So the new location for the reconstruction of the facility led to the establishment of one of the oldest medical institution in the country, the Hospital de San Lazaro, which is now located at Santa Cruz, Manila. It was only in 1918 that Filipinos started operating the hospital. So later, Hospital de San Lazaro now becomes San Lazaro Hospital. Okay. In 1930 to 31, mentally ill patients were transferred to the National Mental Hospital, now known as the National Center for Mental Health. And in 1949, patients with leprosy, okay, were relocated to Tala Leprosarium, now called Jose Rodriguez Memorial Hospital. And at present, San Lazaro Hospital is a referral facility for infectious and communicable diseases, being one of the retained special tertiary hospital of the DOH, which is subsidized by the government or the national government. So it has a 500 bed capacity, providing services particularly among the depressed, underserved, and underprivileged sectors of the society. And since 1986, cases of HIV/AIDS and were admitted to this hospital. Okay, so at present, the annex building of San Lazaro Hospital is now being used as the office for the Department of Health. Okay, next you have San Juan de Dios Hospital in 1596. It was founded by the Brotherhood de Misericordia and supports were derived from alms and rents, okay, to sustain the financial needs of the hospital. It was destroyed 4 times. It was finally rebuilt in 1952 in Pasay City along Rojas Boulevard. So this is your currently San Juan de Dios Hospital. Okay. During the World War II, Filipino nurses played a crucial role in providing care to the wounded soldiers and civilians. Okay? By the person of Josephine Bracken, who is popularly known as the wife of Jose Rizal, installed a field hospital in an estate house in Tejeros, providing care to the wounded soldiers during night and day. Rosa Sevilla de Alvero converted their house into quarters for the Filipino soldiers during the Filipino-American War, which broke out in 1899. Doña Hilaria de Aguinaldo, the wife of Emilio Aguinaldo, organized the Philippine Red Cross under the inspiration of Apolinario Mabini. Consequently, Doña Maria de Aguinaldo, the second wife of Emilio, provided nursing care for the Filipino soldiers during the Revolution and was the president of the Filipino Red Cross branch in Batangas. Okay. Melchora, or popularly known as Tandang Sora, nursed the wounded Filipino soldiers and gave them shelter and food. Agueda Kahabagahan is a revolutionary leader in Laguna who also provided nursing services for her troop. Okay. With the colonization of the Philippines by the United States in the early 20th century, American nursing standards and educational models were introduced to the country. Filipino women were recruited, those who would want to train as nurses, to serve in American hospitals and military facilities both in the country and abroad. So the first hospital to establish a school of nursing in the country is called Iloilo Mission Hospital School of Nursing in Iloilo City in 1906. Okay, it was run by the Baptist Foreign Mission Society of America. And Ms. Rose Nicolette, a graduate of New England Hospital for Women and Children in Boston, Massachusetts, was the first superintendent. Okay? Ms. Flora Ernst, an American nurse, took charge of the hospital in 1942. At present, the Iloilo Mission Hospital is now called the Central Philippine University College of Nursing and Allied Health Sciences in Iloilo City. Okay. The next hospital to establish a school of nursing in the Philippines is the St. Paul Hospital. In 1907, the hospital was established by the Archbishop of Manila and was under the supervision of the Sisters of St. Paul the Chartist. It was located initially in Intramuros, providing general hospital services. Later on, St. Paul Hospital offered a school of nursing with the provision of giving comprehensive nursing education program with hands-on clinical experience in St. Paul Hospital itself. Okay, The Philippine General Hospital School of Nursing in 1907 was established with the support of the Governor General Forbes and the Director of Health. Soon thereafter, the PGH School of Nursing opened classes with American nursing educators and healthcare professionals, shaping the curriculum and standards of nursing education at this particular school to make sure that they are aligned with the international standards. Anastasia Hiron Tupas was the first Filipino to occupy the position of chief nurse at PGH. St. Luke's Hospital was a hospital of an Episcopalian institution, began initially as a small dispensary in 1903. And in 1907, the school opened the School of Nursing, with 3 Filipino girls admitted as the first student nurses. Mrs. 𝓝𝓚103𝓐 𝓕𝓾𝓷𝓭𝓪𝓶 was the first Filipino superintendent of nurses in St. Luke's. Mary Johnston Hospital and School of Nursing in Manila in 1908 also started as a small dispensary on Calle Cervantes, now known as Avenida. It was called Bethany Dispensary and was founded by the Methodist Mission. Miss Librada Javellera was the first Filipino director of the School of Nursing in Mary Johnston Hospital. After the war, the demand for nurses increased, leading to the expansion of nursing programs in the country. Okay? Several universities pioneered the establishments of the different College of Nursing. First on the list is the University of Santo Tomas in 1946. So they established the College of Nursing in 1946 at UST. Manila Central University followed by the establishment of their College of Nursing in 1948. Similarly, on this year as well, the esteemed University of the Philippines College of Nursing was also established, with Ms. Julita Sotejo as the first Dean of the College of Nursing. Okay, so the history of nursing, not just here in the Philippines but all over the world, is very rich and complex, particularly reflecting the blend of indigenous or traditional healing practices, colonial influences, wars, and the modernization of the education of nursing were all attributed to the development of the nursing profession. So the history is characterized by resilience, adaptability, and commitment to providing compassionate care to individuals and communities. And despite facing a lot of challenges, as we reviewed the history of nursing, nurses continue to make significant contribution to healthcare all over the world. Okay, so this would be all for the discussion on the initial topics for the history of nursing and nursing as a profession. Next week, we will be having continuation of this topic. Thank you so much.